Hey everybody, it's Cody, Dixon RC, back for another TRX-4 Sport budget build, week 17. This week we're going to revisit something I've done already way back in one of the first couple of weeks. I did a winch controller. I used the ADA winch controller, which is the one that I keep in stock here. But it is good for 6 volts only. I have been running it on 7.4 volts since I put it in the truck, and it does not work very well. When you put a load on it, it will kind of stutter and it will stop. Most of the time the servo will just quit. And I've gone back and forth changing the 1080 to 6 volts, and it works fine. You can yank on it while you're pulling, and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So I decided to do something a little bit different as far as the winch controller goes, because I want to run 7.4 volts to that servo, to my steering servo, without running a BEC. Seems to work fine with the 1080. I know a BEC is probably the answer there. We'll get to that later. Maybe we'll do one of those later on down the road. But today we are going to install a Hobbywing 1060 ESC, and we basically convert it to be a winch controller. It works great as far as that goes. These are only $21. You just got to do a little bit of modding to the wires, and you got to kind of figure out how you want to set it up in your truck. Other than that, it's great. It's easy. I'm going to go over that. We're also going to, this week, we've done LEDs all around in the body. On this body, you know, I put the Traxxas kit in here. I have since burnt all of those LEDs, went out running 7.4 volts off of the 1080 program port. So we're not going to use those anymore. We're going to redo them. I've already actually done it, but I'm just going to show you what I did. That kind of deal. So we'll go from there. But I'm going to move it around here, but we're going to use mainly the camera that's up top to show down, to show you what I've done and guide you to do what you need to do if you want to use the 1060 for a winch controller. It's very easy, very simple. We'll just go over, and I'll go over everything, what I've done. All right, back in a second. All right, so we're back. So we're going to take a 1060. This is not the stock one. I mean, I've already modified it a little bit, but I'm going to go over what you need to do. If you want to, you cut the power switch off of it. You don't necessarily have to if you don't want to. It is best to do that though. You just clip it off, solder the 2 wires together, and boom, you're good to go. Your receiver wire, we'll get to that in a minute. So you got your battery wire. This had a Tamiya plug on it. You just cut them off, get you some JST plugs. I've got mine set up the way I need to, and you solder them together. Of course, on the other end, the blue and the yellow are your motor wires, which will run to the winch itself. You just wire in JST connectors in whichever way, male or female, you want. Of course, you know, I have these. You get a male and a female in a pack together. I think it's $1 for a pack. So keep that in mind when you do that. And this ESC is good to 3S. You can use it. That's the reason why I'm kind of doing this, is because I run 3S mainly all the time. So we'll take the body off real quick, and we'll look. I need to move that so I don't fall. All right, the other thing you got to do is you got to take your whatever battery plug you've got and wire in the JST, and the opposite of whatever it is you've got on your 1080 into your plug. That's the way to go. They do have jumpers out there if you wanted to use a jumper. I suggest trying to do it yourself. That's the way. It's more satisfying that way anyway. So your battery plugs are black and red, of course, and you take it and make sure it's always different than what you're doing with your battery, and just make sure it plugs in and works fine. So we're good on that. So every time so now the way that I got this wired in, once you plug in a battery, it's automatically going to turn this ESC on, and that's fine. That's okay. The reason being is when you take your receiver wire, the part that goes into the receiver, you disconnect the red plug. So this no longer puts power to so you're not doubling up your power. In my case, it'd be bad for this receiver because I run 7.4 volts out of the 1080, and there'll be 6 volts coming out of this. That'll double up, and it will ruin this receiver. Now, you can use now say if you've running a receiver and you're running 6 volts all the way across, kind of like your TRX-4, with all the servos and stuff, you've probably got 6 volts. You can probably get away with doing that as long as they both put out a 6 volt constant. If they do not do that, then you will run into problems. So first thing we're going to do is remove the ADA winch controller. It's pretty easy to do. I've already got this cover off here. We're going to take this top cover off of the end of this box here. Now, of course, you know I've already got my winch in. It's already wired up as well. We'll get to that in just a second. So I've got my winch powered off my 4th channel on my GT5 FlySky remote. So you just take that out, and that's it. We remove this out, remove it out of the way. And now the hardest part I'm probably going to have is figuring out where to put this to where it will actually work fine. Because see, that's going, that'll work. Okay, we can do that. All right, so now I'm going to get my little, I got a little bitty screwdriver here somewhere. Well, I'm going to use this, I guess. Let's do that. So you'll take, in this end here, you'll see there are little tabs here. So you'll take one tab, the middle tab where the red is. It's best to have a little screwdriver because this doesn't work very well with that. I'm gonna get my hobby knife and try not to cut myself on video here. So you'll take it and you'll basically just dig into it somehow and pull up on it. See how you kind of get a little bit of a up there, and you'll take the red, if you can grab it without cutting yourself. Again, this is very hard to do without cutting yourself. Come on, there we go. All right, so that should work there. You grab the red and basically just pull it out, and you'll take it out. So the reason being is because that's how the power from the ESC goes to the receiver. It goes through this part here. So we'll take that. Of course, probably ought to clip it, I would imagine. And we'll do that. We'll take these here and we'll clip it. I'll worry about taping that up later. I'm not too worried about that right now. So that's all you got to do. You need to have a black and a white going into the receiver. So that's all you got to do. First thing before I start mounting everything, we're going to hook it up and make sure it works. I'm going to plug that into channel 4. I'm going to take the end that has the motor power. Make sure you go black to black, red to red. There you go there. Grab a battery, of course. Hopefully this doesn't catch on fire in front of everybody. All right, so that's there. Of course, that's going to turn on first. Oh, the other thing. Let me unplug that so I can show you what this here. All right, so on this particular ESC, I can't lift it up high enough to show you guys anything. Hang on one second here. So on this end has jumpers. So one jumper's for changing from NIM to LiPo, and the other one is for forward brake reverse, then forward reverse, then you take it out. Just take this jumper, the one that's towards the fins, all the way out. Just take it out and leave it out. That is the way that the winch will work properly whenever you do that. So we're going to do that, and let's go ahead and plug all this back up here real quick. All right, and I'm glad I left all these wires long. I did that on purpose, just because if I needed to move some stuff around. So as you see, that ESC turns on automatically. That's what the flashing red light is, and that's because I put those together. Now, the other one will come on. I shouldn't even have to do, because there's no power going to it. So I got to turn that on. So now the receiver has power, as you see. I have trouble. There it goes. All right, so let's change. All right, so we got power there. All right, so I used my channel 4, which is on the FlySky is the deal there. So we're going to see if it works. All right, there it goes. Ooh, that jumper's got some speed to it. All right, so that works. So now we'll do the rest of it here as far as installing everything. Probably not going to bore you guys with that stuff because that's not really what this is for. So that's it as far as doing that. Just make sure you do. It doesn't matter which wire in the motor lead you put these to as far as that goes. That doesn't matter because it's the polarity. It doesn't matter that because your switch is what's going to run that. Just always make sure to remove your red wire so you don't. So the power that's going into this ESC does not go into this receiver to double up that. And then that's pretty much it. So of course I got a lot of work to do as far as wiring. All right, so I'm back with this here. We will go over totals now. I'm starting to gain a whole bunch of money here, so we're going to have to find something big to do next week, or the next one here. All right, so I started this week with $72.50 from the last week. Added $50 to that, $122.50. Spent $21 on the 1060. I just put down $3 for the JST plugs because I wound up using more than 2 packs, 2 pairs. So technically I would have had to gotten 3 of them. And I spent about $10 on LEDs. So spent about $34, not a lot of money. So I have $88.50 left over for the next week. So when you add that to the $50, it's going to be a pretty good amount of money. So we have to do something big. Maybe it's time to do maintenance. Like I said, I've had this for a year now and haven't done a bit of maintenance to it yet. So maybe we'll do that. Main reason for putting the different controller in is I got an event this Saturday and I'm going to have to use the winch, and I want to have something that's going to work and work right. So that's why we did that. So thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.